Today is Wednesday, January 21. I'm Pastor Michael, and this is Wilderness Wanderings, an archive edition. Today our text comes from Psalm 119, verse 20. My heart is filled with longing for your laws at all times. I remember a group exercise, probably some icebreaker, in which we were asked what we would like on our tombstone. How is that a good icebreaker? Probably to get into a conversation about legacy. I didn't like it then and I still don't. A more interesting question to ask is, what do people say about me right now? But not as an icebreaker. David, the shepherd boy turned king, is introduced in the Bible not by name, but by what God says about him, a man after my own heart, or a man who is dear to my heart, 1 Samuel 13, verse 14. That's high honor, but no one defines what that means. So let's consider what it might mean, beginning with what seems like the most obvious, obedience. As a famous phrase from Psalm 119 puts it, I have hidden your word in my heart. In 2 Chronicles 16:9, we find this, for the eyes of the Lord range throughout the earth to strengthen those whose hearts are fully committed to him. When David sings the glory of God displayed in both the creation and in God's law, he ends with this prayer, may the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing in your sight. Psalm 19. That great psalm about God's powerful and tender presence concludes with a prayer that God remove wrong from David's heart. Psalm 139. We see David's obedience clearly in the years before he becomes king. He does not grab the throne. God says, you will be the next king. But David recognizes that God needs to remove the current king before he can take the throne. Even though Saul has been rejected because he disobeyed God, David continues to honor him as king. David's obedience foreshadows a central characteristic of Jesus himself. He claimed to have come to do the Father's will, John 9:38. When on the cross he called out, it is finished, he was declaring that he had been obedient to the end. The pertinent question for us is, how do we grow in obedience? How do we become fully committed to God? Is it even possible to hum with the psalmist, my heart is filled with longing for your laws at all times? When we get started on this path, we often look to ourselves to get there. I don't think that is what David did. In Psalm 19, David spends the bulk of the psalm looking at what God has made and said. It is only when he has composed his praise does he ask for a pure heart. We don't get a longing for obedience by looking to ourselves. When we see God and who he is, our hearts get stirred. So where does your gaze linger? Is it time to look up again? As the writer of Hebrews once wrote, let us fix our eyes on Jesus. See him on the cross. See him alive, emerging from the tomb. See him enthroned in heaven. Then obedience is not to gain favor with God, but becomes an act of thanksgiving. As you journey on, go with the blessing of God. May God himself, the God who makes everything holy and whole, make you holy and whole, put you together, spirit, soul, and body, and keep you fit for the coming of our Master, Jesus Christ. The one who called you is completely dependable. If he said it, he'll do it.